This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Go, hey! It's a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a judging blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live from the Treehouse. It's happy hour, so when they open up the gates, come in and see us. We got everything rolling. I can tell you there is a whole, if you could see, get out of the way here. If you're listening, athletics.com/A'sCast, I apologize, but if you can see the table full of prizes, we'll be giving that away here later on with the great Amelia Schimmel is going to be here. We're going to be playing Ruby Lopez is here also. We're going to be playing a little bingo here at the Treehouse. Happy hour, drinks half off, food, the whole thing. You're going to absolutely love it. Come see us here in the Treehouse. I got to tell you, today is going to be very special. Liam Hendriks is going to join us coming up here at 4:15. I just got off the phone with Brody Brazil. Great to have Brody Brazil back today on NBC Sports California doing A's pre- and post-game live. So we're back to doing us again, back to our normal schedule of A's Cast Live. And Liam was just in the dugout with Brody, so soon we'll be making his way up. The great Ken Korach, the voice of your Oakland Athletics. And it's a Friday. That means Mark Kotsay. It's the Mark Kotsay Show. I have to say, experience sometimes is everything. Yes, I know I'm talking about how would love to see a bunch of the young guys as Tyler Soderstrom has gone deep again yesterday down at AAA number 18. I keep calling for the young guys. But I will tell you, here, let me scoot over here. I do not get here if it's not for experience. The elevators down below are not working. If you don't know the inner workings of Mount Davis, this building really does not coordinate with the other part of the stadium. I don't know a lot of people if you understand that, but essentially they shoved Mount Davis into the Coliseum, and the two facilities really don't work all that well together. So I walked out the field behind the players, said hello to your buddy Sammy Spinrate, got to talk a little bit with Scott Emerson on the field, rolled through center field. You see that's where all the cars come through when we do the celebrations. That's where the bleachers came through for the Raiders games. And back there is a batting cage for the opposing team, and there's an elevator there, the service elevator would not come down today. So that meant you had to go through the maze to get up through Mount Davis, go out into the stands and walk around all the way around. Got to go through the stomper zone to make it here. If it wasn't for my vast experience of doing not only A's programming here, celebrations here, but also I used to do the Raiders post game out here at Mount Davis on the other side where the other bar is. If it wasn't for that, I would not have made it here today on time.
Well, I'm glad you did make it, because I know how important it is to talk to Liam Hendriks.
Well, and I can tell you there was a security guard that was not literally could not believe I was where I was, and had to look at my badge to really make sure I was a person that should be roaming around in places where he felt I should not be. And even when he looked at my credential, he looked at me like I should not be in the stadium. Well, he was not a happy camper with me.
Well, you made it here. That's all that matters.
I didn't tell him how long I've been around all these years, but he didn't seem to care. I didn't tell him that, though.
Don't care about the end result. Worry about the journey.
Yeah. Well, we're here. And Mount Davis, it is such – maybe someday they should really do a tour through the bowels of Mount Davis and what this place really is like and how convoluted and really what a horrible freaking design this thing is. It couldn't be any worse. Like, you should be, whoever built this thing and designed this thing should literally be so ashamed of themselves that this thing cost a lot of money. It was like, what, $400 and something million?
That sounds about right. And that was a while ago.
It only cost $380 or $90 million to build Pac Bell Park. You realize that?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that till now. That's how much it cost.
Yeah, it did not cost everybody goes, oh, the Giants built their own ballpark. Well, when you look at actual, now I know the dollar changes as we get older in life, but it was not as much money as people portrayed it to be. The Toronto Blue Jays are about to dump over $300 million into the Rogers Center. So basically, I don't know what the total was. We had it during the broadcast. I don't remember, but over $300 million. We should get that number. Guys, check to see how much money they're going to invest into the Rogers Center. So they're going to put 300 something million in. Well, it was under 400 million to build Pac Bell.
I didn't know that.
You now know it as Oracle Park. Remember how they made it out to be like, this is the biggest number and the Giants are going to be paying over 20 million a year. 300 million? Yeah, they're going to. How much was it to build Pac Bell Park? I'm going to say 384.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
What were you thinking, like $1 billion?
No. I was thinking, well,
the Giants get a lot of credit. The Giants get a lot of credit, and they should get a lot of credit, but it wasn't as much as you think it is. How much? $357 million. That was just 23 years ago. 350. Yeah. When they built it, it was like, oh my God, we cannot believe a team is doing this. Now our stadiums cost well over $1 billion. We talk over $1 billion. Pac Bell Park was 357. Why do you think they paid it off so fast? And Toronto's about to dump into their old stadium almost as much money as the Giants built their new stadium. Crazy to think when you talk about the dollars and cents and what facilities cost.
By the way, Liam Hendriks has texted me, grabbing food, be up there in about 15 minutes or so.
Hey, look to see how much it costs for this place. Mount Davis. I'm going to say $400 million.
Should be easily Googleable. That new word.
I mean, they're still paying it off. They pushed the bonds back as far as they could. They're still paying this building off for many, many years. That's one of the reasons why I do not think the A's will be leaving the Coliseum anytime soon, as much as people are political. And do you got it?
Got what?
Oh, you're doing.
I was responding to Liam. Yeah.
Why is it like Dan Patrick looks at his guys and his guys have it like that, and our guys look at us like we're asking for some type of?
Oh well, let's pull back the curtain. You asked them to find the reliever thing, and I'm like, okay. They were looking for like 5 minutes, and I finally go on.
Okay,
and
if you want to find starters, relievers, it's MLB.com. You go to team, you go to pitching, and then you could go to 200 million.
Yeah.
Wow, overvalued. 200 million to 200 million. This is the best you got for 200 million.
But that was back in what, the 90s? That's a lot of money back then.
It's terrible.
I mean, it's a lot of money now, but
I mean the fact that we fixed this joint up, make it. I mean, the treehouse is awesome. This was just a generic bar with carpet, and so is the other bar. So those are the two. There's a middle bar, and there's a bar at the end, and a bar here.
You're not talking about the was it the East Side Club?
It's the East Side. So it was the East Side Club.
I remember that from Raider days.
Yeah, I'll never forget. You want the most tragic story ever about this place is when it was at the end of the Dennis Allen era. And I went down to say, because I did the Dennis Allen show, for you Raider fans, remember the great Dennis Allen, the head coach of the Saints. I went in and said goodbye to him and came up. And as I was coming in the other side of Mount Davis, the East Side Club, a woman tried to take her life. She jumped off, and an ex-Marine broke her fall and saved her life.
Oh, wow.
You probably weren't even here for that.
Yeah,
it was. And then I had to start a post-game show as that all happened right there.
Jesus.
It was crazy.
Yeah, well, now
crazy stories about the Coliseum. Maybe someday, through all my A's and Raiders stuff, I'll write a book.
I'd say flash forward all these years later, Dennis Allen's back with Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is now a New Orleans Saint. The most shocking thing today, the most shocking thing going into tonight's game, and there's no question. I mean, I've read through all the notes of every single game.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the big trade that happened before you came up here.
I'm not going to go with Aroldis Chapman. This is still the most shocking. Aroldis Chapman is now a Texas Rangers. Good for them. We'll get into that in a moment. I could not believe this. I read this today, and this is the most interesting thing in all of baseball today is in our notes against the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox, who are 36-47, they have been absolutely god-awful. They're talking about fire sale. They're talking about players want out. Kenny Williams from Oakland, Stanford, played football and baseball at Stanford, had a little bit of a major league career, has been a long time general manager. Now he's president, the executive vice president, I believe he is. And Hahn, their GM, is the
Rick Hahn, yeah.
Rick Hahn is the what?
GM. I'm sure he has a fancy title too.
He's a vice president, I believe. I think they both got one's executive vice president, the other is vice president. People are talking about whether they're going to lose their jobs, whether they should be building for the future, even though they won't be a part. Whatever.
Executive vice president is Ken Williams. Senior vice president, general manager Rick Hahn.
I told you he had a fancy title. The Chicago White Sox at 36-47 are only 4.5 games back in their division. That is insane. How bad the American League Central is. Twins, Guardians, that you can be a team that's 36-47 and you're talking about unloading everybody and you're only 4.5 games back. Right now, you got Minnesota and Cleveland both playing at a 488 clip. Minnesota at 40-42, Cleveland at 39-41. White Sox are just 4.5 games back. Detroit is 10 games under 500. 10 games under 500, and they're only 4 back. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's how bad the AL Central is. It's like, I understand, like, if you're a fan, you'd look at this and you'd say, well, you know, we're really in this thing. No, you're not. And I know anything can happen if you get to the postseason. It'll be interesting to talk to Liam Hendriks about it. Like, you're a really, really, really bad team. But you're only 4.5 games back because you're in a really, really, really bad division. So from a business standpoint, do you try and save something that's that bad? Or do you go with reality and say, you know what, past couple of years, this team is so underachieved and it's time to go to the next level? Why are you I think Liam Hendriks is going to be here in a second because Cody is like in a panic. Aroldis Chapman has been traded and he is now a Texas Ranger. I think is a phenomenal move for the Texas Rangers. Aroldis Chapman has had some good innings this year, has had some stretches. And, you know, you knew there was going to be some guys, you know, because we kept saying, who do the Royals have? Like, who do the A's have? Aroldis Chapman, and you got the Rangers and the Astros going to be hooking up. You have him for a month versus waiting till the deadline. I don't know who they gave up for him. I can't imagine it's anybody worth anything. But for a team that's in first place and a team that under Bruce Bochy, we'll be getting into some bullpen numbers here in just a little bit because there's some interesting bullpen numbers. But the Texas Rangers, 5-game lead over the Astros, really the first big domino. I don't think there's going to be a lot of dominoes. I could be wrong, but I do not think that we're going to have some hot and heavy trading deadline. Unless teams that are competitive and in it are trading with other teams that are competitive or in it, you're not going to see a whole lot. The White Sox are the one team I'd be going to find some players. But how about that? Aroldis Chapman to the Texas Rangers. I think it's a great move for Chris Young, their GM, the 6'10" former Princeton basketball player. I think it's a great move for him to get power arm into your bullpen, an extra power arm, even though their bullpen, the Texas Rangers bullpen, has thrown the least amount of innings so far in all of Major League Baseball.
That's correct. And it was Cole Reagans and a minor leaguer that's going back to the Kansas City Royals. The Royals have really bad starting pitching, so maybe Cole Reagans can help them in their starting rotation. Yeah, I love the move. Chapman's not making that much money. He's on a 1-year deal. So it's a good move for Bruce Bochy, who manages a bullpen very well, and for a Rangers team to try to make it back to the postseason. And everybody in their infield besides their first baseman starting the All-Star game. So they have a pretty good team when you look at what they've done so far this year.
Yeah, you're getting a 4-2 record with a 2.45 ERA. He's got 2 saves. That's really kind of the biggest thing right there, is that he has the ability to close games out for you. He has the ability to be in those high leverage innings, and really going to the Royals was a great kick in the pants, because there was definitely some question about his desire. There was questions about his professionalism. And in New York, you're going to get called out pretty quick. And remember, they dumped him off the playoff roster, didn't want him. So it was time to sink or swim. What's he, 35?
Is he that old now?
I think he's got to be mid-30s.
Yeah, I know he's in his 30 here. Click 35.
Yeah, he's 35 years old.
He's not closing because Barlow's our closer. So
53 strikeouts and 29 and a third. And once again, you're adding a guy like Aroldis Chapman into the mix of a bullpen that has the fewest innings pitched so far, which is huge, because we will. Is he on his way like he's going to be here?
Well, so I sent Renee, our intern, down to grab him because Liam said, "What's the best way up here?" And I was like, "Well, if that elevator's not working, that's not the best way." So he's going to.
Well, you have to know what floor to get off, and you got to know your way. Yeah. Players never come up here. Like, how many times have we been here in the treehouse and they'll bring one of our players up here? They don't even know this exists.
Yeah.
Players literally don't go anywhere but clubhouse field. So when guys say, "Oh, I always liked playing in Detroit," they don't know. They've only been to the clubhouse and the field. They never. It was actually during COVID, which I thought was funny, and I remember who the Astros player was. But there was an Astros player, because remember, the bullpen guys would just sit in the stands by themselves with the cutouts. And I remember there was one time NBC was showing the Astros guy was roaming the Coliseum.
Wasn't it Greinke?
No, it was somebody else. It was a reliever. And he was roaming the Coliseum, and he disappeared into Mount Davis, and he came back. Greinke sat in the stands. But this guy was roaming all around, and it was interesting, because these guys never get to see these stadiums. So you could say, "Yeah, what's it like to Yankee Stadium? How great is the new Yankee Stadium?" Because the new Yankee Stadium is a palace. They don't know. They only go to the clubhouse, and I know how they feel because I've done it too. When I've traveled with the A's, I make sure I leave the press box and I go all around the stadium. So I've been around these stadiums. Now, when I was working and traveling for the Raiders, I never went into the stands. I would you bus in, you go into the locker room, you go out onto the field, you come back to the locker room. So I've been to all these NFL stadiums. I couldn't even tell you what the bars look like or the restaurants look like. And they're incredible, right? All these NFL stadiums they're all fit to the nines, man. Everything people talk about are just absolutely incredible. Wembley Stadium I got to see, though. Wembley Stadium has the most interesting restaurant and one of the most famous facilities in the history of sports, of all the big soccer matches, all on the pitch, all the big concerts, all the greatest entertainers, the Queen going by. They have a restaurant at Wembley Stadium that has chandeliers, and all the waiters and waitresses are in tuxedos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
I'm not surprised, but.
And I walked in because you know me, I'm not afraid to walk in and be out of place. So I go in there and I got all my Raider gear on and I got all my equipment. I'm like, this place is pretty sweet. They're having lobster and champagne. Guys are in tuxedos. Everybody's dressed up. And I went, yeah, the English, they do it right. And I can see, like, for the big wigs, because there's not a team that actually play. I want to say only the national team plays there.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who plays there.
You're a soccer guy.
Not really. I'm going to the Quakes game tomorrow. Quakes match at Sanford Stadium, California Classico.
We got people who can text into us, right?
Yeah, YouTube comments.
Hey, for you soccer people, it's only the Britain's national team is the only team that plays there.
It's the home
They
National
have-
Stadium of England and the home of the English football. Yeah,
They have like there'll be matches there, but it's like the home field for the national team.
It's when I type in who plays at Wembley Stadium, it says England. It says England national football team.
There you go. It's a pretty big deal. But yeah, the restaurant with the fancy chandeliers and everybody in tuxedos, you're not getting that at the Coliseum. I don't think we're expecting that at the Coliseum.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. By the way, Renee responded on their way.
Okay. I know you're a little distracted.
Yeah, well, it was my bad for thinking Liam remembered how to get up here.
These dudes don't know how to get here.
Well, the best one ever was when we had remember when we had Emo in the press box because of the weather?
Emo has worked here how many years?
He goes, I've been here for 20 years. This is my first time in the press box.
It's the same elevator. Like literally the elevator here at the Coliseum. There's one elevator. That's why whoever built the Coliseum is a moron. It's one elevator, right? And it works for everything. So when it breaks down, it basically shuts down everything. The actual clubhouse is, I don't know, less than a minute away from this elevator. You can get from the clubhouse. Scott Emerson has been working here for how many years and has never been anywhere outside of the clubhouse and the field. And he's been here for how many years?
Yeah, well, he said 20 years. 20 years he's been here. He's never been up here.
Mark Kotsay had agreed, by the way, today to come up to the treehouse and do the interview right here. They had some meeting. By the way, there's all kinds of news.
Yeah.
The big man Muller is back and going to be starting tomorrow. The big left-hander.
That wasn't even announced in the news we got initially.
I found that out down the field because I saw him. I said, hey, wait a minute. The big lefty's here.
Actually, Marcus, our intern, was like, hey, I think I see him in the players' lot. I'm like, oh, that hasn't officially been announced yet. But Marcus, man of the people on the streets.
I made sure I asked the great Mark Ling if I could mention it. Muller will be the starting pitcher tomorrow for your Athletic.
I think.
Well, Kotsay mentioned it as I was walking up here, I guess.
Yeah, he.
You're not up to date.
Well, no, I saw Muller because of Twitter, but I knew he was here. We were speculating about it.
What are the changes then?
So Jordan Diaz, Rico Garcia, and Kirby Snead are all back. Cap is now on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to June 27th with a strained right shoulder. Yexel Rios on the 15-day IL with retroactive to June 29th with,
by the way,
Renault syndrome. And Jonah Bride optioned.
By the way, we need no joke what Rios is doing, Yexel, and they're going to change some things with medication to help him out with the numbness in his fingers. It's not the thoracic
outlet syndrome,
but whenever someone doesn't have feeling in their limbs, that's a scary thing. So, we're thinking about Yexel Rios. I know he's not watching, but I just, for the fans out there, always good to put positive vibes out there. He's going to be okay. But whenever I hear stuff like that scares me.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to be fine. It's just seriously, when you got numbness in your hands or your feet, that's a tough situation. Now Muller, so they don't have to make a move yet for Muller.
Well, the other thing too is Mason Miller was transferred to the 60-day injured list.
Okay, but that's not going to deal with Muller pitching tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Let's see, Rios on the IL, Cap, Bride to AAA. Yeah, so there's a spot still open because they did 4 moves.
Okay.
They called up Rico Garcia, Jordan Diaz, and they brought Kirby Snead back from the 60-day injured list. So there's another spot open now.
And I was not planning on talking about this today.
I guess that would be how that works.
But this one, it's upsetting. As James Caprillion is just not a guy that you can count on. And it's sad. I want to love Cap. I like Cap as a guy. Unfortunately, this is a sport that the old saying is the number one saying. The best ability is availability. And if you can't get on the mound and you can't pitch for us and you have a history from the time you were drafted to where you are now at 29 years old, because Cap comes back from Vegas for a second time. It sounded like he had to come to Jesus with himself this last time in Vegas. He comes back, and he's a different guy. His fastball's not the same. Doesn't matter. He's a different guy. He's mentally stronger. He's mentally tougher. Everything is just better. His control's better. The slider's better. And Cap finally looks like that guy. He finally looks like the guy we think he can be. And what happens?
Shoulder. 15-day injury list.
I mean, how do you proceed? It's very tough. We'll get into that. The great Liam Hendriks is on his way. He'll join us next right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend, and it is summertime. You want to look your best, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Commander Cody, we've got our new shipment from Link Soul, all the summer gear. So whether you're playing golf or you're going out for dinner, you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're going to the beach, go see our friends at linksoul.com. And right now they have an offer where you can get 20% off. Go to linksoul.com. Remember, in the big leagues, look good, play good.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and younger to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After the game, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Well, we have always said if there was one player is our favorite player all time here on A's Cast Live, and he has made the most appearances by far on this program, it's this man, Liam Hendriks, right here, who has been, once again, all the years here in the Bay Area, what you have done to help people, to help animals, what you've done for kids. And then now with your battle with cancer and beating cancer, and now a new project for you in your life. It is great to have you back on, but it is so good to see you. We sent out so many thoughts and prayers for you when we found out about it. But, of course, in your fashion, you beat it, and here you are.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. But, it was not the offseason we really drew up, that's for sure. But, hey, it is what it is. You take them as they come, and you push forward.
I mean, it just had to be shocking when you first got the news.
A little bit, yes and no. But because I'd had the lumps there for 6-7 months, that made it a little bit easier. Yeah. Like I had WebMD and all that sort of fun stuff. So like I looked at it and I was like, okay, it could be this, or this. Then they actually told me what it was. And it wasn't as much of a shock as it was, I wouldn't say a relief by any means, but it was nice at least knowing what it is, because I was more worried about them not being able to figure out what it was. And then you just go through like, okay, is it something that I need to be concerned about? Is it not? Like, what do I do from here? It's just the not knowing is always harder than actually knowing, because as soon as you know, you can put a plan in place and you can start getting after it.
You know, recently ESPN just did a piece on you and taking you a little bit through the process. Just take us through that process, what it was like, because in the back of your mind, knowing you, it's like, I'm going to beat this and I will be back out on the mound.
Yeah, so initially we got told December 7th, called my wife on the way home. And yeah, that was an emotional time. But after that, it was okay. Let's get everything confirmed. Let's move forward and let's see what we need to do. And it was like, okay, well, I'm going to go through this, but what can we do to like, there's a silver lining in there somewhere. Maybe it's silver lining for me and it's a little bit of rest and all that sort of stuff. But it was mainly, okay, look, this is an underappreciated group with the young adult adolescent cancers group. Let's see what we can do to raise awareness. Let's see what we can do to push forward. And let's get some fun. Let's see what we can do funding-wise and help out with the LLS or the LRF, the Lymphoma Research Foundation, or the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society. So it's like there's always little things we can do. And that was one thing that really kind of helped me focus on a lot of things is, okay, look, this sucks for me, but if we can make it easier on the next person, let's do that.
It is amazing how you have always been. And I don't know, I'd have to talk to your mom. You have, no matter what, I remember you get DFA'd, and no matter what happens to you, you're always thinking about how to make it better and how to make it better for other people. How's that possible?
Well, I mean, it's an easy way to not ever get down. Like you could get diagnosed with what I did, and then we go, oh, why me? Why all this? And it's like, no. Look, out of all the people I know, it's probably I'm the best person suited for this because of the attitude I have in a lot of things. I still remain extremely optimistic. I'm a constant positive. So, like, why that it's better for me to go through something like this because I know that I can handle it. And I tell you what, it was the hardest on my wife because I'm on the bed, I'm getting all the treatment done, but she's sitting there not being able to help out, not being able to do anything. And that's, that can't feel good. So me going through the treatment wasn't bad at all, but I always think about the caretakers. They're the ones who go through it. They're the ones who see the goods, the lows, and the highs and everything, but they're the ones who can't help. And it's a helpless feeling.
Well, your wife has been such a rock in so many different ways. I remember back when you were an athletic, and there were certain players that were in the bullpen who, let's just say, weren't the most mentally tough guys, and your wife wouldn't allow you to be one of those guys. And I remember how strong your wife was through your adversity just as a player. I can imagine what she was like now through the diagnosis and you getting better. Just talk about the strength of your partner, your wife, what she's meant to you in your life, not only as a player, but going through all these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's exacerbated the fact of how much we need each other. Like, me going through this, I would not have been able to. One, I don't think I'd be in the spot of my career that I would be in without her. And then going through this, it was like there was some days where I was struggling a little bit days-wise, just mentally. And she was the person who was consistently picking me up when I was down, which is usually it's her having to kind of push me down a little bit to make sure I don't get too big-headed and too into myself. So it was another turn of things. But no, she's the best. She's been kind of running point on a lot of these things that we're trying to do off the field, and going through that while, I call it babysitting, but like taking care of the animals and all that sort of stuff, and then moving houses. And if I get traded or DFA'd or anything like that, she's having to pack everything up and move. And then, it's she's a godsend, but she's unbelievable. I'll never be able to thank her enough or show her enough appreciation, show her enough love for everything she has done for me. And not only me, but everyone around her. She just, she's that person. She cares more about anybody else than herself. And that's something that's really, really inspiring to be a part of.
I think it was in Cleveland, because she's from Cleveland, right?
From Ohio, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I was having a conversation with her. This was years ago. And we can't talk about the language that she used, but she would never let you feel sorry for yourself. And she challenged you when things weren't going good. She challenged, basically, I'll put it in nice terms, not to be soft.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's the same thing. Like you.
How many guys' wives go, "Don't be soft"?
The white. Yeah, it's there was certain expletives that were said, and that's kind of about the first time I'm like, no, I'm gonna end up marrying this person. Yeah. But no, she's that's what I said. She's great for me when I'm struggling a little bit, and she gives you the kick up the ass and be like, why are you thinking that way? Or when I'm going really, really well, she gives me the point of view like, hey, don't let it get to your head, because you know what? When you start getting complacent, when you start thinking everything's easy, that's when you start struggling again. And that's something that she knows the right time. And don't get me wrong, I don't like it at the moment. It's a battle in the moment. But when I self-reflect and go back a little bit, it's something that is she's generally spot on, and the timing is almost impeccable.
Whatever you think of the ESPYs, the Jimmy V Award has always meant so much, and so many great people in sports who are, instrumental in helping fight cancer have won this award. And the fact that you're now going to get this award this year, I know this is pretty recent. I mean, you've done a lot of great things in your career now. This is obviously different from closing games and being at the All-Star game and that kind of stuff. But this has to be right up there.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, obviously the legacy that it brings is there's a lot that goes into something like this. There's a lot of background that that is like reading all about it was there's a lot. But for me, I'm so honored to be a part of anything like this. Even to be like there was a nominated or anything like that, that would be huge. But being able to go to something like this and win the Jimmy V Award I'm extremely humbled and I'm extremely honored to be a part of it. And hopefully I can continue living my life and pushing through with everything in Jimmy V's honor and make sure that I'm doing things the right way and not. But yeah, that I mean the biggest thing is I want to raise awareness, and this is a great opportunity too. And hopefully I can keep doing things the right way.
I think of his speech. I think of Stuart Scott's. I mean, some of these speeches at the ESPYs and the Jimmy V Award have just been incredible. This got to be the biggest speech of your life.
Yeah, and I'm usually a wing it kind of guy, but I don't think Chris is going to allow me to.
Yeah, I don't know if this is one you wing.
But no, I mean it's definitely I feel like I'm a decent public speaker. I feel like I can talk pretty well, but yeah, going to something like this,
I'm like you. I'm a wing it kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm just, hey, you know what? You may be bullet points.
Yeah, bullet point. I ramble too much. Chris will have this thing written out perfectly so that way my enunciation's correct. Everything's done in the right way because I ramble. I get going and my head gets going before my words do. But no, I'm excited to be out there. I'm excited to be a part of it. And now being, that was nothing I ever thought of, being able to have a chance to go to the ESPYs or anything like that. So I'm pretty excited for the experience.
The thing you love to do is throw baseball. What was that like when you got to come back? You're in the minor leagues. You're getting that opportunity to play again. You're healthy. You're feeling, I don't know how much better you're feeling, but you're definitely feeling better. What was that moment like? Like a rebirth?
Yeah, it was a lot. Obviously, it was an experience that I not never really wanted, but it was an experience that going out there that I wasn't expecting. Like I walked out to the bullpen and there was they put some stuff on the video board and there was people with signs, there's people, everything like that. So that was one thing I didn't expect. Then trying to get ready for the game while trying to be my normal self, which is angry and kind of loud and all this sort of stuff. It's really hard to do when there's a bunch of people cheering for you, not because of the situation, but because of a different situation. It's like coming into a game, I'm used to it. Okay, it's a little closer, it's a little tighter. I'm coming in and the lights go off, everybody gets excited. But this time I was excited for a different point. Like it was coming back. And I had to continually remind myself that it was more than just missing 2 months. It was more than just being on the IL for a couple of months. It was bigger than that. And it's bigger than me because I just pictured it like, I've only been gone for 2 months. It's not that big of a deal. But there's a lot of people going out there that are out there going through something similar, that watching someone like myself go through that can potentially inspire them to like just have that positive attitude, know that I'm not alone, I can do this. And that was something that I'll be holding with me for the rest of my life. But I want to make sure I do things the right way and make sure I continue to be that kind of person who's making sure that, hey, look, you're not alone. There's others out there. It's, as I said to any survivor I meet, it's a group that no one wants to be a part of, but everyone wants to be a part of at the same time.
All right. So, yes, you do pitch with anger. And unfortunately, there's crowd mics that always catch the things you say when pitches come out of your hand that you don't like. What is it like now, the guy who pitches with all this anger, and there's nothing but love coming your way? Because no one's going to boo you. I mean, right? Well, they will end up booing you.
They
again.
will end up.
But right now, there's just love everywhere you go, and you're the guy that's out there snorting and yelling and cursing, and
Look, I like it loud. It doesn't always have to be positive. It doesn't have to be negative. I just like it loud. I only got a chance to pitch one game on the road so far since I came back. Before I went back on the IL with my elbow.
What was it like?
I was in New York, and so
you got love still, huh?
Yeah, it's weird. You go to Yankee Stadium, you expect to be booed. That's just how it goes. But, there was some cheering. So immediately I gave up a first pitch home run. So that way the crowd got into it a little bit more and I was fine after that. So there's little things you can do, little tweaks. But, it's definitely going to be a weird experience. But as I said, as long as it's loud, I don't care. I feed off the energy, whether it be positive, negative, in the middle. It doesn't really matter to me. As long as it's loud, as long as I can do something and to be honest, get out of my own head a little bit.
The elbow's always been a kind of thing for you. We've always kind of known it.
Yeah.
And you're like, hell, I don't care. I'm going to fire through it.
She's hanging on. That was the same thing this time. I was like, okay, I felt some pain in there. And I was like, look, it's either going to go or I'm going to be able to pitch through this and it'll go away.
You've been saying this for years.
Yeah, I found out I had a tear in my UCL in 2008. And that's been there. That's common knowledge to every team, so I'm not worried about saying it. But, yeah, it's been in there for a little bit. The last couple of years I've had some forearm stuff kind of come up, and that's obviously everything's a little bit weaker in there. So whenever anything else goes, it exacerbates the issue. So we had some PRP a couple of weeks ago. Spent the last couple of days throwing, just trying to get back, and then today on an off day just to make sure I don't overdo it. Get back and throw the next couple of days and see how it goes. But as I said, this year we're just taking it day by day. There's no plan or anything like that. It all depends on how I recover.
I always loved going through the timeline. I was like, this is, I've been doing this a long time now, unfortunately. I've been around. And I'm like, the timeline of guy gets DFA'd, guy stays in the organization, guy says to hell with it, I'm getting back to doing it my way.
Guy gets his number given to another guy while still in the organization.
And then comes back, starts the wild card game.
Yep.
And then next you know,
gets the loss in the wild card game.
And then he's on the cover of the media guide.
Yeah.
You're on the cover of the media guide. I mean, the changes in Oakland. For you, the career changes in Oakland are unreal.
Maybe they just had enough.
Unprecedented.
They just had enough of putting Simeon on the cover every time, I guess.
But, I mean, you had such a year. I mean, you went from a guy being DFA to a guy who's on the media guide.
Yeah, I had a good year in 19. And that was partly due to a little bit of a different mindset in me and being humbled. And a lot to do with the coaching staff allowing me that opportunity. Like, there was, who knows what would have happened if, say, that everyone was doing well in that bullpen. I started that year as the long guy, the long slop guy, and then all of a sudden I went from there to all of a sudden being the closer around June and moving forward. So it was who knows without that opportunity where I'd be at right now. But I mean, as I said, hard work. The harder you work, the luckier you get. And that's something that I've taken into it. And also be unique. Find your own way of doing things. It doesn't have to be the right way. It doesn't have to be the wrong way. As long as you're your own person, I think it makes everything a little easier. Just don't be average. I always that's my advice to kids every time they ask me, "Oh, what do you want to do as a pitcher?" Don't be average. Just find what works for you and don't be average. Because average that means everyone else is. You can be below average, you can be above average. Just don't be average.
We've told A's fans for years to get behind causes that you've been behind. Where do you want us now? Because I know when my mom passed away from breast cancer, it was like save the flowers, donate to help, to research, to help find a cure. Where do you want us to now donate?
Look, there's different ways of doing things. You can donate, whether it be time or money. Like, look, the amount of people that I was in hospital with, in the infusion rooms, that were there alone, it was heartbreaking. Like, I had Christy with me there no matter what, at every time. But the amount of people there alone, I mean, I don't know how that would go there if you could just show up at the hospital like, hey, is there anybody who's alone I can just sit with and talk to for a while or anything like that. But look, the one there's the LLS, which is the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. They do a lot of research and great stuff. There's the Lymphoma Research Foundation that my wife is currently looking at trying to join the board for that. So there's a lot of different places, but I'm not telling you to any specific places. But one thing I will stress to everybody, anybody going through anything, whether it be cancer, whether it be depression, whether it be anxiety, whether it be anything, just reach out. You're not a burden. You will never be a burden. Just reach out, say hello, ask how you're doing. Those are the messages that really got me, that helped me get through everything. Because on you know that like on days where you're posting stuff on Instagram or anything like that, people are going to listen. But it's those other days where you just know that someone just thought of you. Just reach out and see how someone's doing, because those are the huge days, and those that could be the day that really defines their optimism for the rest of their treatment process or whatever they're going through that day. Just reach out and be a good friend, and you'll never be a burden on just reaching out to see how someone's doing.
You said this to me years ago on the pregame show, that what you just want to do is you want to make life better before you leave. And you do that on an everyday basis. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us. It has been such a treat to watch your career, to watch it it's been a crazy ride, but a crazy, beautiful ride. And you and your wife are such great people, and everything that you do for people, for animals, you name it, now to help fight cancer. You're a wonderful man.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And now I'm going to go and meet a couple families who are surviving cancer themselves. So doing something on the road everywhere we go. We're going to get a family out on the road, at home, making sure that we get some people out and show them a good time and then bring them out to the game and get them on the field for batting practice and stuff like that.
The great Liam Hendriks right here on A's Cast Live.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
Get your superhero squad together and join forces as we take on the Minnesota Twins on Saturday, July 15th during Marvel Superhero Day. All fans can enjoy this special Marvel-themed day at the ballpark, along with fun photo opportunities, character appearances, and in-game features as part of the fun. Get there early to snag a Captain Marvel bobblehead presented by Extra Mile. Tickets start at just $10 and are available at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
It's summertime, and I can guarantee you probably need to redo your wardrobe. You want to look good, and you want to feel comfortable. This is Chris Townsend, and you got to go check out my friends at Link Soul. They've got all the finest fabrics. You're going to love the shirts, the polos, the shorts, you name it. Redo your look for summertime. Go to linksoul.com right now, and you can get an offer for 20% off. Remember, in the big leagues, to play good, you got to look good.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try the world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Summertime is golf time in the Bay Area, and that means it's time to enjoy the beautiful vistas, 27 holes of championship golf, and all the amenities that Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Cinnabar Hills gives you a variety on the course and in their amazing grill. They're ready to give you an incredible experience for any family, business, or social gathering. Nestled in the quiet hills of San Jose, summertime fun awaits you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Celebrate African American Heritage Night at the ballpark on Friday, July 14th, as we proudly honor and appreciate the important contributions that the African American community has made to our team, community, and the game of baseball.
He goes into a dive and makes a miraculous catch. Another amazing play by Tony Kemp.
Early arriving fans can snag a pair of commemorative African American Heritage Night socks presented by Chevron. Tickets are available at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
A's fans need Friday night plans? Well, we got you covered. Get 4 tickets and parking for any Friday night game starting at just $49 with the Friday 4-pack presented by Chevrolet. Save big and enjoy great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more this 2023 season.
He drills one to right, way back, and no doubt, and that quickly the A's have taken the lead. Second deck.
Friday night tickets are available at athletics.com/value. That's athletics.com/value.
If you're looking for the latest green and gold gear for the 2023 season, then look no further than athletics.com/shop for your officially licensed gear. That's athletics.com/shop.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through September 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gig internet plus unlimited data for just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires PayPal bill and an auto-pay stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. After promo, regular supply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
A's Cast Live continues from the Treehouse. Here's Chris Townsend.
That's right, the Treehouse. And the star of the Treehouse.
That's you.
The Bay Area Radio Hall of Famer, the voice of summer. It's summer, right?
It feels like it today, that's for sure, pal. Right? It sure does.
The voice of your Oakland Athletics, Ken Korach, is with us. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's going to be a warm weekend, but this is a pretty good place to be when it's warm around the Bay Area.
I like it. It's summertime. I don't want to be cold. I want to be
no,
hot.
Tonight is going to be a perfect night for baseball. Going to be in the 70s at first pitch. So, no, it's great.
I'm telling you, I went through the entire notes of every single game, and Aroldis Chapman's traded.
Texas.
Draymond Green got a 4-year, 100. He's staying with the Warriors. I'm going to tell you.
Did they announce the Draymond thing today?
Yeah, he's staying.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to give you the most shocking thing out of anything that I've heard in sports today.
Okay, go.
The
I'm ready.
White Sox at 36-47
are in the race.
Are only 4.5 games back of the division.
It all depends on the division you're in, pal.
That's insane.
And they have a really good team. I mean, they really should be better than their record. So they're fortunate, right? Nobody in their division is over 500.
No.
But they have a good team. I mean,
so what do you do if you're Kenny Williams? Because I've been talking about if I needed something and I was a GM of a good team, I'm calling the White Sox.
Yeah. Well, I think
what do you do?
And Rick Hahn is the GM.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to stay the course with them because you have a great chance to get to the postseason. But that's for their evaluators. If they look at their club and they say, we have a run in us, then why not keep the team together? I'm not privy to all the contract implications and all the stuff going on with them. But if you look at their team on the field, that's a pretty good ball club.
They've got names.
They do. I mean, they remember when they were here last year, they raked against the A's. They had a couple of games in which they just were dominant. So I still like their team, and they have underachieved for sure this year.
I remember when they played the Field of Dreams games against the Yankees, and every guy's got his shirt open with chains, and they're hitting home runs and the chains around the base. I mean, they had swag.
And plus, they've got a local kid, Andrew Vaughn, who's been hot at a
last
good series.
Couple days,
good
last
series against the Angels,
games.
And his dad played for one of my best friends in high school up in Santa Rosa. So there's a lot of tie-ins with Andrew.
Yeah, last 10 games hitting .316, 3 home runs, 6 extra base hits. So the kid from Cal Berkeley is getting it rolling. When you see the White Sox, this is an organization that means a lot to you.
Really does. I mean, they took a chance with me back in the winter of 91. My first year with them was 92. And the abridged version of the story is that, and I don't hold this against the people at the radio station that was doing the hiring, but they said, we are not hiring someone from the minor leagues. It is nothing personal, but we are going to hire someone with major league experience, which I had none of at the time. So the White Sox kind of prevailed in that tug of war there. So I'm pretty indebted to them.
Yeah, there were some big names who were involved in helping you with that process.
Well, yeah, I mean, they really have been in we lost Ed Farmer, our dear friend.
Great Ed Farmer.
Who was the analyst for so many years and became the lead broadcaster on radio when John Rooney went to the Cardinals. So it was a lot of fun. And plus, they were really good. It was a thrill going there, because I was still doing some games in AAA. And now you'd walk into a ballpark wherever they were playing with Robin Ventura and Frank Thomas and Jack McDowell and
Black
Alex
Jack.
Fernandez,
Yeah.
and we had Bo Jackson, I mean, there was, Joey Cora at second and Ozzie Guillen at short. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Was that one of the toughest things to ever watch? Was literally the greatest athlete you've ever seen not be able to run?
And I was there, in Sarasota watching him try to run. And, yeah, it was sad. And then he had hip replacement surgery and actually went to the Angels and had a pretty good year with them.
I want to say the first game back from hip replacement, he went yard.
Yeah, he actually was the first and only baseball player I can think of who's played in the big leagues after hip replacement, wouldn't you say? I mean, haven't heard of it since.
Yeah, I've never heard of it in any sport.
Yeah.
But that was Bo Jackson.
It was Bo Jackson.
He was the greatest. All right, people haven't really been thinking about this. I did this the other day on TV with Dave Stewart. When I brought it up, Dave couldn't believe it. Is the halfway point is not the All-Star game.
No.
It's just not.
Right.
We are at that game. Today is game 84, I believe.
Right.
We're in the second half.
We are.
What would you like to see in the second half?
Well, I think we started with it today to see Jordan Diaz come up. So, and I know we talked about this quite a bit a year ago. You want to see the foundation being built, and the A's have some young players down there. I would like to see Soderstrom at some point. I'd like to see Geloff come up, and I'm bullish on Jordan. The A's made a flurry of moves today, as you mentioned earlier on your show, and I think he's going to get a chance to play quite a bit, and I think he can be a cornerstone player on this club. I don't think he's going to be a 30 home run guy.
He hits, yeah.
He can hit. I think he's going to be, if he plays a lot, I think a 285 lifetime hitter. I think that's in the cards for Jordan Diaz.
If you hit, we will find a spot. It's like Ruiz. It's like he's the one, out of all the people I've been watching, because sometimes I'm critical of Ruiz, but there's a reason, because I see him as one of the guys that gets us out of the darkness and into the light. So a lot of these other guys, what they do on a day-to-day basis doesn't matter to me long-term. It matters for now, but Ruiz is the one guy I'm watching. He has the ability to help, and that's why I want to see him do so well.
And you want to buy a ticket to watch him play. You want guys on your club where people don't go to the concession stand when they're up. You don't go to the concession stand when Ruiz is at first base, because he can do dynamic things out there. So I think he's going to be the A's All-Star. I mean, I think there's probably a 90% chance of that, wouldn't you say? So
I would say 100, because
he's been fun to watch.
In a season where you've changed the rules,
right?
Major League Baseball is going to want to see the leading stolen base guy.
Yeah.
And I think he deserves it.
And he can impact the game late. I know they're not playing for anything like they used to.
Yeah.
In the home field advantage, but if he comes in the game late and it's a close game, you're going to pay attention to what he's doing.
I really would like to see him roll off a couple games with 2 to really get the number up there close to 50. So during the All-Star game, they can go, AL rookie record just 66 by Kenny Lofton. This kid's going to blow by that.
He's going to. He will not get the Major League rookie record.
That's Vince Coleman.
Right. It was like 110, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was more than that. It was a lot.
I think it's maybe 120. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a lot.
A lot. Yeah,
people forget
get that.
People forget how good Vince Coleman was. Vince Coleman stole it because Ricky overshadowed Coleman and Raines and all these guys.
110.
110. All right.
You know, the other guy that I would really like to see become more productive offensively is J.J. Bleday, because I think he's another guy you can build around if he's got to hit more. And he's only been here for a half year. His time in the big leagues is still limited. He's such a great defensive player.
Yes.
I think he really helps this club when he's in the outfield. You look at it's not just me. You look at all the advanced metrics and numbers and stuff. He
throws the ball well.
Throws the ball well. So he can really help you on defense. He's got to hit. I don't think he has to hit 300, but he's got to hit. And if he can, then I think he could be the kind of guy that you could play out there and that you've got to. I mentioned this on the broadcast yesterday, Chris. The top 3 teams in the American League, in terms of fewest errors, have the 3 best records overall in the league. You got to play defense.
What did Ray Fosse drill into us day in and day out? Pitching and defense. Pitching and defense.
Yeah, you're sounding like Dick Williams here.
I mean, seriously, it's just. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
They do. Yeah.
I know I'm not a hitting coach, and I know I never hit in the big leagues. I only play a hitting coach on streaming on A's Cast Live, and then
which
on
you're doing a very
radio.
good job of now live here.
Too much weak contact in the air for Blade from me.
Yeah.
When he talked about when we first had him on, when the trade was made, he was back in Florida on his couch. I remember we were talking to him. It was about he was focusing on line drives, and now with less shifting balls on the ground, and it's like we still see a lot of weak contact in the air.
And he's not playing that much against left-handed pitchers either, so I'm not sure if they see him as a guy that can play against lefties and righties, at least right now. So, yeah, I mean, he's not alone in that. And one thing about these low averages, if you took some of these guys and put them on a team that had a bunch of guys that were swinging the bats a lot better, would they be better?
Yeah.
Would guys be better if they were around better hitters? Because it can be contagious. And sometimes with teams that have 4 or 5 guys that are all-stars, you focus on those guys. You don't focus maybe on some of the other guys. So
a great example of that right now is Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
You take Sean Murphy and say, okay, you're the guy, and you don't have a lot around him, his numbers are going to be far different than you put him in Atlanta, and he's one of all these guys. Now, the way you get pitched is completely different.
He batted 3rd and 4th for the A's a lot last year. And teams, when they do their scouting reports, they look at a ball club and they say, well, Sean Murphy, we're not going to let him beat us.
Yeah.
With the Braves, they're looking at 3 or 4 guys before. And then this is no disrespect to Sean, who's going to start the All-Star game, I think, isn't he? He'll be on the All-Star team in the National League as a starter.
He's starter.
Yeah, commander. So, but they have Acuna and the rest of those guys. And, Riley and Matt Olson's having a great year. So he's not the number one focus when you play the Braves.
I got to tell you, the news today about Cap really bummed me out. I've ever since we had that great interview with him in spring talking about this is finally you're healthy. This is your year to be that guy that everybody has always thought, from UCLA to the pick by the Yankees in the first round. He's always been the guy that can be the dude. And the second time coming back from Vegas, I know the velocity was down, but the stuff has been better. He has competed much better. He's finally looked like that guy.
Yeah.
And then wham, here we are back on the IL.
We were hoping, because the velocity wasn't what it was, and you can't expect that to be what it was when he was drafted out of UCLA by the Yankees. But I think he even said that maybe next year, after a full year of putting that shoulder surgery behind him, that he would regain some of that velocity. So it is disappointing. And when you have a veteran guy who can help stabilize a very young rotation that's generally struggled, it's tough. Yeah, and Kyle Muller is going to come up and pitch tomorrow, as you mentioned. He's not active yet today. So the A's made 3 moves today. They'll have to make another move tomorrow to get Muller on the active roster.
Yeah, I was asking the commander that because all of that, Muller, I confirmed actually while you were doing the Mark Kotsay show.
Right.
And I was walking up here. So, yeah, they still need to make a move.
Yeah, that's why they didn't announce Muller being active, because he's not. So they'll announce that tomorrow, and somebody's going to have to go down tomorrow.
And I'm glad to see him back because that big 6'6" lefty, if he gets it going, he's another guy that you want to see and give opportunity because he could be another one of those guys. But
he's got to throw his changeup. I mean, that's the one single biggest thing with Muller. He's got to throw his changeup.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight you on it.
No, he's got to, right.
Yeah, I mean, and now all of a sudden you start having a stable of young guys, but it's been Paul Blackburn since he's come up. Don't you think there's been some, stabilizing with him coming up?
He's also a good influence, too. And Martin Gallegos wrote about that on MLB.com. Guys going to him for tips and just advice. And he's not a real old guy or a veteran, but he can bring a little more sage wisdom to some of the young pitchers. And I like watching him pitch because he's surgical. He's not going to blow you away, but he can carve you up. And that's the kind of guy that I really enjoy watching pitch.
Big plans for the All-Star break?
Yeah, I think that there will be a golf ball and a tee somewhere around here in the Bay Area. You can count on that.
By the way, we did a little.
I think my wife's going to the game.
Is she really?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, I don't need to go to a baseball game.
Yeah.
I did say this as we had a little outing at our sponsor, Cinnabar Hills. We had a little outing. We were out there. I did say to your partner, Vince Cotroneo, I think the biggest sandbag partnership I've ever seen in one golf cart is you and Shooty Babbitt.
From the standpoint of what?
You guys are going to downplay how good you are.
Well, yeah. Well, you know,
you're going to be asking for strokes when you shouldn't be asking for strokes.
No league is bigger than this league, right? Shooty Babbitt. Yeah.
I think Mac Babbitt's back on TV this week.
I know. He's great. I haven't seen him tonight, though. It's always nice to see what he's wearing, too, because he outdresses all of us.
Oh, right? You can't compete.
You can't compete, no.
He's great.
Puts us to shame.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, buddy. It's a lot of fun.
And
it's good to be here.
I know the crowd always appreciates it.
You're the mayor of the Treehouse, so it's
have a good call, and we will see you
buddy.
in the press box.
Talk to you after the game.
The great Ken Korach right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend, and it is summertime. You want to look your best, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Commander Cody, we've got our new shipment from Link Soul, all the summer gear. So whether you're playing golf or you're going out for dinner, you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're going to the beach, go see our friends at linksoul.com. And right now they have an offer where you can get 20% off. Go to linksoul.com. Remember, in the big leagues, look good, play good.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Get your superhero squad together and join forces as we take on the Minnesota Twins on Saturday, July 15th during Marvel Superhero Day. All fans can enjoy this special Marvel-themed day at the ballpark, along with fun photo opportunities, character appearances, and in-game features as part of the fun. Get there early to snag a Captain Marvel bobblehead presented by Extra Mile. Tickets start at just $10 and are available at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Series 2 Baseball. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
Summertime is golf time in the Bay Area, and that means it's time to enjoy the beautiful vistas, 27 holes of championship golf, and all the amenities that Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Cinnabar Hills gives you a variety on the course and in their amazing grill. They're ready to give you an incredible experience for any family, business, or social gathering. Nestled in the quiet hills of San Jose, summertime fun awaits you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through September 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gig internet plus unlimited data for just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract. When you add Xfinity Mobile, go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires PayPal still in an auto-pay or stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. After promo, regular supply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services. specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and younger to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After the game, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree.
Become an A's insider today. Visit athletics.com/newsletter and sign up to receive the latest team highlights, up-to-date news, features, and more, all delivered free to your inbox. That's athletics.com/newsletter.
See the best fireworks in the Bay Area on Friday, June 30th, after the A's take on the Chicago White Sox. Enjoy the best view as you head down to the field for this one-of-a-kind hip-hop fireworks experience presented by Lagunitas Brewing Company. Tickets are available now at athletics.com/tickets.
Ace fans need Friday night plans? Well, we got you covered. Get 4 tickets and parking for any Friday night game starting at just $49 with the Friday 4-pack presented by Chevrolet. Save big and enjoy great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more this 2023 season.
But he drills one to right, way back, and no doubt, and that quickly the A's have taken the lead. Second deck.
Friday night tickets are available at athletics.com/value. That's athletics.com/value.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Oh, I'm getting the big word today. My kids are opening up bank accounts.
Oh boy.
Oh,
driving,
boy.
bank accounts.
Driving, bank accounts, colleges, lots going on. Mark Kotsay, the manager of your Oakland Athletics, is going to be joining us. What time, 5:30?
Yeah, so about 15 or 18 minutes from now.
His draft story is always interesting because at the time he was training with Team USA and all the top guys, the college guys, not high school guys, were all together staying in like at an army base or whatever. You'll hear it coming up. It's an interesting story when Mark Kotsay was picked. What was he, 9th, 10th overall?
I believe he said 9th by the then Florida Marlins.
He's so old, he was a Florida Marlin.
Yeah, I remember those days well.
Where were you at the Tampa Bay Rays and the Florida Marlins?
Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Devil Rays, that's right. I screwed up the joke.
Yeah, it's okay. I landed the plane for you.
All right. I'm more of a California Angels guy myself.
That's a good team. Yeah. Quickly, a lot of people play that Immaculate Grid game. You saw us playing it.
I don't think a lot of people play that. You're the only person I've heard that plays it.
Okay, well, just check Twitter. A lot of the big MLB people play it.
I think you overplay stuff. Would you say a lot, like Wordle a lot?
I don't know. People are playing it as much as Wordle, but baseball
play
people are
Wordle
playing it
all over the world.
Baseball people are playing this game.
Okay.
But one of them yesterday was Angel National great, but you can use the Expos. So I love that you can actually, when it's a team like that, you can use the Expos, which is great. So I was like, Kevin Franzen. And everyone's like, wait, what? Kevin Franzen. It was like 0.08% knew Kevin Franzen play for both teams.
That's what these guys do in their spare time.
It takes 5 minutes. It's like I'm.
Ooh, who's an Oriole and an Astro? Kurt Schilling.
Was Schilling an Astro?
Is he ever an
I don't think
Astro?
he was an Astro. Oriole,
Astro. Who was on the Orioles? Glenn Davis.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anyone more recently. We don't need to worry about it. Oriole Astro.
Could it be a Colt 45 and an Oriole before they're Astros?
Yeah. I mean, technically, yeah. Mike Elias, GM, Oriole and an Astro.
Oh, has it? That goes back. That goes back with my A's Yankee, Bob Melvin, manager of the A's, all-time winningest manager of the A's, and was a AAA great catcher with the Yankees. Caught Mariano Rivera in AAA.
We brought this up the other day with David Feldman in our group text, and we owe Mickey Morabito an
Oh
apology.
my God! Preach on! Preach on!
When we did our top 10 A's Yankees of all time to play for both teams, we completely forgot the great Mickey Morabito, who has been with the A's since the 80s, but originally with the Yankees. Mickey should have been number one. Sorry, Reggie.
Yeah, I apologize to our traveling secretary, literally one of the most popular human beings in the history of Major League Baseball, inside the world of baseball. If you go inside baseball, Mickey Morabito worked with the Yankees, came with Billy Martin to the A's, has been here ever since. He is an absolute legend in the sport of baseball. The fact that we did not mention Mickey Morabito being A's and Yankees is big shame on us.
It is. That's why I wanted to make sure we brought it up and apologize to Mickey for that. And my mind is still trying to figure out who was a great Astro and an Oriole now that was a player. I feel like there's one more recently that happened and we just.
Glenn Davis, I know for sure.
I don't.
Do you know who Glenn Davis is?
I heard the name, but.
Glenn Davis was a massive power hitter back in the day for the Astros. Then he went to the Orioles.
I'm Marcus, our intern, saying Miguel Tejada was never an Astro, was he?
I don't remember as an Astro.
I remember it was an Oriole.
So Glenn Davis hit Astro Oriole. How's this for home runs back in the pre-steroid? 20, 30. This is the Astrodome, by the way. 20, 31, 27, 30, 34, 22. He had a nice little career. So I gave you one.
I know.
You go.
You got me. That's the first time I've been stumped on this so far. Usually I pulled an obscure guy out all the time, but I can't think of it.
Wow, I got him?
Yeah, you got me. This is bad.
That was like my first just rando.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's easy when it's like a pirate and a random person. I can just name a random pirate from the 90s and no one has any idea who he is, but he played for them.
How about if you start going like teams that haven't been around that long? Like D-back Rocky.
I got stumped on that one. Chris Inetta.
Oh, yeah, I'd never get that.
Yeah, no, I'm like, who's a D-back and a Rocky?
D-back and a Rocky.
Iannetta's one. It's the one that I should have gotten. He was also an Angel.
Can't be that many guys.
How
many guys have been Rays and Marlins?
Ryan Stanek.
Ryan Stanek was a Marlin?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about recent.
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys? I mean,
I know, yeah.
One. I mean, how many guys played Rays and Marlins?
Besides Stanek, I could think of.
I don't think there's that many. How many Rangers, Astros?
Nolan Ryan. Ranger, Astro. I know we're
because there's been quite a few Giants A's.
Yes. Let's see. Besides Nolan, again, I feel like there's gonna be a big power hitter.
Wow, he's put on the spot.
I said Nolan Ryan already.
You got Nolan Ryan.
Captain Obvious.
Yeah, geez.
That's like when I'm talking to the interns
you're
about it.
Claiming you're like so great at this game. I brought up a 2 and you're like,
Ranger, Astro. I'm sure there's.
Well, while you think about your little grid game, One of the happy birthday, by the way, Trey Turner. All-Stars. Okay, I'll get to the I don't. All right, All-Stars quickly. I want to get into this innings pitched by bullpens. I think.
Does anyone surprise you on there? Well, I mean, there's
Jonah High. Is anybody an American League, National League guy anymore? Remember how you were either an American League or a National League person? Like, I'm an American League person, you're a National League person. Does it matter anymore?
No, I don't think so.
American League, Jonah Heim, Yandy Diaz, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Josh Young. It's not Jung. It's German. It's Young.
So the entire Rangers infield besides Nathaniel Lowe.
Mike Trout. One of my favorite names, Randy Arozarena.
Great Cardinal Ray player.
Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani made it. But
what's he done this month?
There's not a surprise for me on the American League team. And really not on the National League team either.
I mean, if you're going to pick one, if you want to, we have to, probably Jonah Heim. I mean, he's having a really good year. But
he's been fantastic.
Yeah, and he got voted in by the fans.
Well, they're in first place.
Yeah.
They're still in their honeymoon period because they never really got a honeymoon period because of COVID with their new ballpark. And this is why they talked about they needed a new yard, because the biggest problem was, hey, do the Rangers have a big fan base? Yeah, they do, but weather sucks so bad in the summertime in Texas that how did you know whether they were going to have a game or not when there's always rain delays and always issues? Now the Rangers know, or their fans know, they're going to have a game. That's the key about having the retractable roof. They're going to have a game, and you're seeing their fan base, and now being able to vote online, their fan base is fired up. But, they're not ready for Cowboy season yet. They're not ready for training camp. Ranger fans are out there in full force, and you see it by the voting. And they went out and got Aroldis Chapman today.
Yeah, and great ballpark, too. I went there last year. I love that ballpark.
I got to see it as it was being built. I am the one human that got Ray Fosse to leave the ballpark. As I got Ray Fosse to leave the old Globe Life, whatever the hell
I think it's
called.
Field, now it's Park, or maybe it's the other way. I can never remember.
I got him to leave to go to Texas Live and have barbecue. I got Ray Fosse to leave the ballpark in Texas in between a doubleheader. And they were building the new spot. It looks fabulous. Speaking of Rangers getting Aroldis Chapman, one of the things looking over across the bay, which has been really interesting for me, is that the San Francisco Giants they're red hot. And you have to give them credit. As much as I can't stand them, and I have no problem being an A's honk and saying I can't stand the Giants. The Giants bullpen has been fabulous. And right now their bullpen in this month, 12-1 with a 2.66 ERA. In a month.
That's pretty good.
12-1, 2.66 ERA.
They do a lot of bullpen games too. Opener
Tons.
and yeah.
And you'd think that they're leading the world in bullpen innings. They've had 125, which actually is the most in the majors in June. So we are becoming a bullpen game. Every single year, bullpens eat up more innings, right? That's something that we see. But you would always think that the team that uses the most bullpen innings stinks because your starters stink. That means you got to go to the bullpen, which means, man, you're having a rough year.
Yes, and we're looking at it now, and the team that's leading is the most surprising. I mean, I don't know if it's too surprising because we know how much this team likes to use their bullpen, but they've been using more of their starting pit. They haven't used the opener as much this year, and we're talking about the Tampa Bay Rays, who are the best team in baseball record-wise right now, and they lead in reliever innings with like 345 and a third, right?
345 and 2/3.
2/3.
They lead the A's by 2 outs. The A's are at 345. That makes sense. The A's starting staff, which as a whole has gotten better, but has been throughout the year not very good, it makes sense that the A's are second in innings pitched by the bullpen. Third makes sense because we just told you how much they've been using the pen, is the San Francisco Giants. Correct. At 341. So your top three has two of the best teams in baseball. Tampa, San Francisco, the other's Oakland. The fourth is another horrific team this year, That's Colorado Rockies at 338. So it's kind of head-scratching, right? Usually bullpen use means bad record, but 2 out of the 4 are terrific teams. The other 2 are 2 of the worst teams. While the Rangers have the very last, they're 30th. This is where you want to be 30. You want to be 30 in bullpens and your bullpen's innings pitched. It means your starters are doing the job. Bruce Bochy, being old school, is utilizing very good starters, going deeper into games. So they have used the least amount of bullpen innings. And because you wonder, all right, now that you head into July, and then you're going to get into the dog days. Now every series you're going into, unless you're coming to the Bay Area or you're playing inside, you're going to be playing in some really hot, muggy weather. Bullpens get burnt. How will this play for Tampa? How will it play for San Francisco? So far, so good. But 2 of the best teams have utilized their bullpen a lot. And I can tell you, Dave Stewart, talking with the Giants people while I was at NBC the past week, great to have Brody Brazil back at his post, NBC California A's pre- and post-game live. But Dave talking going, I don't know if it's going to last. So we'll see how that lasts, leading the world in bullpen innings and doing it throughout an entire season. And what does that look like once you get into the postseason?
Yeah, and I think the Rays used the opener yesterday, and it was Zach Littell who was an opener a lot for the Giants the last couple of years. Just like how Sammy Long with the A's is now back at the end of the bullpen guy where he was an opener for the Giants. The Giants are kind of going full bore on this bullpenning thing because instead of going out and get a 5th starter because they've had injuries with Cobb and DeSclafani, they're using their bullpen a lot, and it just we'll see if it sustains for them because the Rays have done it, but they've had how many different guys go down with injuries.
Well, and they got a long way to go, man. We're talking about we're at the halfway point. You've got a long way to go. Another team that was just in town, give them credit, and who has utilized their bullpen really to keep them afloat because they have had no offense. That's the New York Yankees. Yankees have had the best bullpen if you look at numbers-wise, not innings-wise, but ERA-wise. The Yankees have had the best bullpen. So I'm fascinated by that because I think in the end, the Rays are the one team that is focused so much on just a volume of arms, burning through arms. They've had the most guys hurt, but they've had such a focus on bullpen that they've been able to do it. But other teams, will the Giants be able to do it? I mean, obviously with the A's, this is horrific for us. Being at 345, that is.
I was looking. They've Rays have used if you don't include a position player, they've used it looks like 30 different pitchers already this year.
30 pitchers.
Yep. They've had how many guys start a game for them so far? So this is including openers. They've had 14 different starting pitchers. That includes openers. 14.
Well, the opener is a starter.
Yeah, 14.
That counts. They've had 14 different guys.
Yeah.
I see the Rays being able to sustain it because it's been a part of their DNA. I don't know if other teams, I don't know how long this will work for the Yankees. The Giants' volume and success with it doesn't seem healthy.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I forget how many, I'll see how many guys the Giants have used pitchers this year. Because I know they've used, like I said, we talked about they use a lot of openers.
And even though the Giants have been just killing it in June, I mean, Giants are still 2.5 games back. Dodgers, God, we've acted like the Dodgers are just leaking oil so bad. Dodgers are still just 2 games back of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
The Giants have used 10 different guys to start a game, including openers. So, and they have several guys on the injured list. Brebbia, who's a guy that opens for them. Obviously, Alex Cobb's hurt, and then the other one is
Cobb's going tonight.
Oh, so he's back then. Okay, so he was hurt, and then Scott Alexander was the other one that was hurt. But yeah, they've used a total of what I say was 10 different starting pitchers, and not including position players, it looks like 18 different pitchers.
And I don't know who would have the answer to this, but the opener is back. It came up big time. We had Liam Hendriks here. Rays got it going. Everybody started using it. I remember people were like, oh, teams with great rotations like the Astros. Because the Astros, I mean, they had Verlander, Greinke, and Cole. They even started using it. So it became like real chic, and then it went away to where it didn't go away for Tampa. Tampa kept using it, but the opener kind of went away for a while. Well, the opener is back in full force, and each team is different, but the A's, we've been using it a lot. I don't think I've had a lot of success with it, but obviously the Giants have. We know Tampa has. We thought that was something that was going away, and the opener clearly is not going away.
Yeah, I found it yesterday because I've been curious because I've been looking at the Rays game notes when they use the opener to see what their all-time record is, and they don't put it in there. But I found an article from January of this year talking about how great or what their record was. I think it was, including the postseason, the Rays using the opener coming into this year were 91-60. I think is what I have. I have it on my actual computer. Maybe it's 94-60. Because I think they used 154 times. So it's been really successful for them, and the Giants have used it well. I mean, obviously it hasn't helped the A's yet this year, but yes, it's back for sure. And I think we're going to keep seeing it because how many guys keep going down in pitchers we keep using as a sport.
Oh, it's an epidemic.
Don't know if it's sustainable,
yeah,
but
it's an epidemic. There's just not enough human beings. We just don't have enough human beings to be able to have this many. We don't have enough human beings to get enough outs in the season. And the way we're running through pitch, the way we don't want pitchers to throw now, the way we don't want to have guys have big innings, we rather just get a bunch of relievers. But the way we've trained these relievers, they can't sustain what they're doing because they all have a shelf life. Being full max guys, they're all at some point going to get hurt. We can't keep guys healthy. No one can keep guys healthy. I wonder at what point are we going to, as a sport, be like, we need to have a conference on this. We need to figure something out because it's just not working. We don't have enough bodies. There's not enough guys.
Yeah. The one big guy that was the guy that was, when we're talking about relievers and their shelf life, remember how great Nick Anderson was for the Rays?
Yeah,
then
he blew out his arm.
I don't even know where he's. I think he might be a Brave now, or he's somewhere. He's just,
He's part of the World Series team.
For Atlanta?
Huh?
For Atlanta?
It was for the Rays.
Oh, yeah. He was our closer. Yeah. He was our closer in
2020.
2020. That was his best year. And then I haven't heard of him. I haven't heard about him since.
You're looking at me like I was crazy.
No, I think he was a former Marlin too. There's another Marlin Ray.
Is that my Marlins Brave Ray?
Could be, yeah. By the way, just thought of an Oriole Astro. Scott Feldman, the former right-handed pitcher. There's obscure for you.
And you wonder I'm not playing this game every day.
You get rewarded for guessing people like a lower score. So someone like Feldman,
like if I get rewarded, like what's my reward?
You just get a great rarity score. So the higher the rarity score, so if you have a 500, that's not great. If you have a 100 score, that's actually really good.
Do you ever feel like you just got an ample amount of time a day to do stuff?
No. I mean, I go on an hour and a half walk in the morning, and then I do that.
Do you do it on your walk? Or when do you do it?
No, I do it when I get back, usually.
Just like, do you get like prepared, focused? Do you time yourself?
No. It doesn't take me that long. There's people that literally say, like, my buddy was like, oh yeah, it took me like 20 minutes. You sat there for 20 minutes trying to figure this out. I mean, it's not that hard.
How many people cheat?
Probably a lot. I told my friends, I don't know how my mind works like that. I remember unknown guys that played for it's just really weird.
One of the stories in baseball before we get out of here, we'll get to the manager, Mark Kotsay. Everybody, and rightfully so, we have talked about, and everybody around baseball has talked about the AL East and the success of the AL East. Look out for the NL East, because the NL East right now, and not your Mets and Steve Cohen and the highest payroll in baseball history, and wait for it, they've got a new dog named Seaver. No, not saving the season. Mets are in trouble. It's been, how about this?
Oh, boy.
What?
Bob Melvin and the Padres just got walked off by the Reds.
Oh, Bobby Melvin.
It's like going into Pittsburgh, it was a get right series, huh? How'd that work out?
Bobby Melvin. Well, you just.
Nothing to take you away from your NL East talk.
The losing streak with this loss.
6 now?
Padres losing streak is at 6 games. Going into those 6 games, they were outscored 31-12. This means they're now going to be a season worst 8 games below 500. Wow. We've been following this because we were in San Diego for the winter meetings. And we've been getting inside stuff about what's been going on down there. And I have some pretty good connections down there. This is a franchise that's exactly should warn everybody. This is why you don't run your franchise the way the fans want you to run a franchise. This may be the most case in point, unless there is a dramatic shift in how they play. They find some magic pixie dust. You have an owner that is spending hog wild, made everybody happy, right? Their fan fest was so big, they didn't have enough anything. They didn't have enough security. They didn't have enough personnel. The fan fest was so big. And what did everybody say? Everybody said, see what happens when the owner spends. 2 owners have spent like a fan this year. Steve Cohen of the Mets and Peter Seidler of the Padres. 2 teams that are an absolute dumpster fire. But New York's always going to have the money that the Padres don't have. And this has been the case of what is it like when a team who doesn't have the big television contract, who doesn't have the resources that, bad contract's no big deal, shake that off. Peter Seidler is using his personal wealth, his personal businesses to back these contracts, which should be a no-no in professional sports. That kind of takes you back to Frank McCourt back in the day, that disaster when he owned the Dodgers and he was trying to bankroll things through his parking lots. How did that work out? And you've got all this money. Remember all the excitement? Everybody's telling you this is how it should be. Well, you have a team that now is 8 games below 500, nowhere near the division, let alone the wild card. They were talking about a parade route for the World Series. Everybody was saying, this is how ownership should go. He's like a fan. He understands us. And now you've put your franchise in such financial, maybe jeopardy for years to come. Because you have these huge contracts. You re-up with Machado. You have the Tatis. You've got the Bogart. You got the Bogarts. You got the Yu Darvish. You've got guy just said horse bleep. Musgrove. You got Joe Musgrove. You've got Cronenworth. What are you going to do with Soto? You've got
Hader. You have to worry about.
You're nearing. If you add any more contracts, guaranteed money of over $1 billion for a team in San Diego that literally is locked. They don't have a big cable deal. And oh, by the way, they're one of the teams, Bally's, who's gone bankrupt. They're not even getting their cable money right now.
It's going through Major League Baseball.
So you've got the ocean to the west, Mexico to the south, Arizona and desert to the east, and the Dodgers and the Angels to the north. This could end up being one of the biggest financial disasters. And you're going to go, well, you did what the fans want. Yes, you want to appease the fans and get fans excited, but there's also a smart way and a dumb way to spend money. They clearly have overspent for certain players. They didn't build a strong 40-man roster. They didn't build a strong 26-man roster. And now, if this goes south, you once built up the best farm system, according to the rankings. They built up the best farm system. They're all gone.
Yeah.
The farm system's gone. All these players that it's over $800 million at this point you've guaranteed. They're all just going to get older, and their money's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not great.
But you won the winter, and you won FanFest. How's it looking now? It's unbelievable.
It's not great. And like we said, they just got walked off by the Reds, who They're playing well, but yeah, not great.
But I want to get into this note about the Phillies because obviously the Braves and the Rays are the two best teams in baseball. But the Phillies, through 81 games last year, do you know what their record was? Anyone?
I'm not going to answer because I know the answer.
43-38. Right now is game number 81 for them today against the Nats. They're 43-37. So if they win today, the Phillies will have the exact same record through 81 games as they had last year.
So you're telling me they're going to the World Series again?
Isn't that amazing? Last year, bad start. Well, they fired the manager. But last year, bad start. This year, bad start. They could be at the same record. We can actually look that up. What is their score? They're playing right now.
Let's see. Phillies, they are playing. They're down 2-1 to the Nationals.
All right. We'll see how that works out. But they could be. And, oh, by the way, you know who's replacing? So last year it was a three-headed monster of Mets, Braves, and Phillies. This year the three-headed monster is Braves, Marlins, Phillies. Marlins right now have the best record in baseball. I was looking at this in the notes today. I was proud of them. Marlins have the best record in Major League Baseball dating back to May 26th at 23-8. I'm happy for them. You know, a lot has been said. Jeter came in, and Jeter's been thrown out. Kim Ng leaving the Yankees, got the opportunity. A lot of people ripped her on moves she's made. All of a sudden, they've got one of the best records in baseball, and they're in second place in the NL East.
Yeah, and
it's a great story in our game.
And they have a guy chasing 400.
Oh, my God, a rise? By the way, their run differential is 0 right now.
Very surprising.
0.
Usually when teams are like that, they're like 500 or below.
How about a rise on a 13-game on-base streak during that time hitting 434? You know what? I know our guy, Saris, is an analytics guy, so he's not going to like it. I think hitting 400 would be a big deal.
I agree.
I'm
not a batting average guy either.
And I think you batting average haters, but I think you're going to see that batting average does matter in our game. And even if he gets to 395, 390, it's going to be one of the biggest stories in our sport. And a lot of people are going to watch it. You ready for Mark Kotsay?
Yes.
Am I going to go play bingo?
Yeah, we got about 18 minutes of pregame, so you better hurry.
You mean Ace Total Access brought to you by Chevron?
Correct.
I've missed her. And I've also missed the Clubhouse show. I've missed her too. Those are my babies. I've missed my pre and my post-game show. It is great to be back. It's great to be back at the Coliseum. As much as I love doing TV and I love Dave Stewart and NBC, and I'm glad Brody's back and doing well, I've missed being out here. It's great to be back. It feels wonderful. Thank you for watching A's Cast Live. We want to thank the great Liam Hendriks. We will get that up on YouTube as soon as possible. Liam joined us for how long?
It was like 15 minutes.
Liam Hendriks stopped by. The great Ken Korach stopped by. And now you're going to get the manager. It's time for the manager show with Mark Kotsay. Now for the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep. For all your bedding needs, your mattress, your sheets, your pillows, go to nestbedding.com or go to their locations in the Bay Area and use the coupon code Oakland to get 10% off your order. This guy and his entire family sleeps on beds from Nest Bedding.
That's correct, especially here up in the Bay Area.
And you need to get a good night's sleep. That's one thing you coaches do not do. You guys grind so much and you have such odd hours that you do, in the end, need to take care of yourself and get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, the couch we're sitting on actually has a pull-out, and I have slept in this office before with Nest Bedding.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the heavy throw blanket and the pillow come in great.
It's hard to believe because we have always thought about the second half being after the All-Star break, but it's not. The second half is now. We're past 81 games. So what do you want to see from your club in the second half?
Yeah, I think the expectations are continue to improve. We started out in April with only 5 wins. May was a 6-win month, and now June has a chance, I think, to be 9. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so, continuing to improve, continuing to try to win more games each month than we started out with. I think we've become more competitive as the season has gone on, and that's good growth, especially for a lot of these young guys. But now the expectations can be raised a little bit. The lack of, I guess, or a better term, just less mental errors. They've had a chance now to get their feet on the ground. And, there's now some expectation level that, they got to execute the fundamentals and, no more excuse making. You've been here and you've gone through it. You know the speed of the game. So,
I mention it all the time, whether it's this show or the post-game show, the little things, you do little good things lead to big things. Little bad things lead to a disaster. And people don't really think about that, but it is the attention to detail. The good teams that you were on, the good teams that you have faced, they always do the little things.
Yeah, they really do. And, this last Yankee series, we didn't execute defensively. Both plays led to, bigger innings than what they should have been. And so execution of the fundamentals, obviously, human errors are going to happen. But if it's lack of concentration, then that's going to be an issue, obviously. For these guys, their focus into the detail. We talk about it a lot, and it's something I harp on. That the expectation level is that we take care of the baseball and we execute fundamentally, and we get a bunt down, we move runners, and now second half, it's really about seeing progress with runners in scoring position for the offense.
All right, I think about one guy who I pay a lot of attention to because I think he really matters, helping this team get to where we need to go, and that's Ruiz. So his first half, how do you grade his first half? What'd you like? What does he need to improve on heading into the second half?
Yeah, I think he does a lot of great things on the baseball field. Obviously, his speed is dynamic. He leads the league in stolen bases for the first half. I think we can continue to allow him to run, but we got to make sure that those base running mistakes on the bases aren't costly. He's got to continue to grow in that, and the timing of those mistakes can't lead to being thrown out at third base with 2 outs and the runner, him being in scoring position already. So, but in terms of just continuing to improve, I think the exit velo off contact, we're looking into and seeing if we can create a little bit more power behind the stroke. So he's making adjustments. So through those adjustment times, he may not, be successful, but I think in long term, he's going to be more successful. And I think that's key for him. But, continuing to get him out there and continuing to watch him play and watch him grow.
How much do you talk to him about his defense?
Yeah, we talk a lot. And I think, Mike Aldredi's in charge of the outfield defense, and he's one guy that has some experience with it. He's been an outfield coach for a while. So, it's getting him comfortable, getting Ruiz comfortable with taking direct routes and being instinctual. And I think the more and more we're going to see him out there, the better he's going to get. He made a great play against the Yankees coming in. The Toronto series was a little bit more difficult. But I think the Toronto conditions with the shadows split in the field, reading the ball off the bat, even Kiermaier had a little bit of a hesitation on a couple balls. So, and Kiermaier is one of the best.
No doubt. And, something I think no question has been a positive. And you can see from April, May to June, and hopefully we see this more in the second half, your pitching numbers have gotten far better. Scott Emerson, we just saw him here in your office talking to him. Just talk about overall your pitching coach, the pitching staff, how, as you mentioned, getting more competitive.
Yeah, the pitching coaches have really worked hard from April and even through spring training. We got out of the gate with just, a young staff, guys that hadn't had any experience. Not having Paul Blackburn in the rotation to begin really hurt, and that showed itself. Going out there with 3-4 rookies in the rotation, we took our lumps, but I think you've seen some progress, you've seen some growth, especially from a guy like JP Sears, who's now continuing to get into through the fifth inning, into the sixth inning, and occasionally he's pitched into the seventh. So that's a good sign for us, and we're gonna need those guys in our future. But both Mike McCarthy and Scott Emerson have really worked hard. They have individual meetings post start. They have individual bullpen meetings every day. So they're really diving into the numbers, the data, and just trying to find, every nuance to pitching that they can to teach these guys, to communicate it with them, to just help them get better.
And of course, you got to build through the draft, and that's going to happen while this is running until we talk to you the next time. So A's have a higher pick than usual, and that's usually a good thing because usually we're winning, so it means we're picking later. But going back to your days, coming out of Cal State Fullerton, being Player of the Year, you're on Team USA. What was? Take us back to when you were drafted in the first round by the then Florida Marlins.
That's right, the Florida Marlins, 9th pick of the first round. And what was great about that year was there was a lot of first rounders. We were all together because we were all on the USA baseball team. And they had us held up in Millington, Tennessee, in some barracks. I think it was the Army barracks, where we would walk down the hall once the phone rang. Skip Bertman, who's the head baseball coach of the USA team, would come and get you and say, hey, so-and-so's team's on the phone. And Chris Benson was the first. He was the first pick that year. So Benson was the first to walk down the hallway. Travis Lee was, I think, the 3rd pick in the country. Braden Looper. Some guys that really had some long major league careers were in that draft, in that 96 class. And so I got drafted. We had to play the Summer Olympics that year in 1996 in Atlanta, Georgia. I was the only one of the first rounders on that team that left early from the Olympics. After we won a bronze medal, I didn't stay for the closing ceremonies, which I regret to this day. But I left and flew home, packed another suitcase, and flew out to Chicago, where I joined the A-ball team for the Florida Marlins and played the remaining 18 games left of A-ball season because I wanted to play pro ball. And I said, this is the fastest thing to the big leagues was go play. And everyone else didn't play. They went home, enjoyed the closing ceremonies.
For the ceremonies?
Once
in a lifetime opportunity to play A-ball?
I think I played my first game in A-ball the night that the Olympics ended and closing ceremonies were held. So,
wow.
And I was the first one to the big leagues of that draft class. The following season in 97, I got called up from AA and became the first member of that 1996 draft class to play in the big leagues.
How different. I mean, you just think that you're in an Army barracks. Now we got everybody on TV. We want to be like the NFL, the NBA draft. You're in the Army. Soldier, you're next.
Yeah, no air conditioning either, by the way, which was great. So in Millington, Tennessee in June, July, August. But it was a great experience. It really was. And I know that all these kids that are lining up for this draft, it is different. It's definitely a different experience. Now they go through a combine.
Yeah.
Now they go through an interview process. I talked to David this morning, and I know we had talked to the TCU third baseman. He and Scott Hatterberg had a Zoom just to get to know these guys, before they, obviously invest a lot of money and time and energy into the process. But it is definitely a changed process for sure.
Well, how about this? I'm thinking about how you got drafted, and this is a college-heavy draft. That's what they're talking about. You went to A-ball, AA, boom, you're in the big leagues. And remember, when he got to the big leagues, you're talking about a team that was going to win the World Series. So it wasn't like you're on a complete rebuilding team. Taking a college guy early in the draft, you don't expect him to be in the minor leagues long. Is that correct?
I mean, that would be my expectation. Now, I'm not involved really in the draft from that standpoint, but I agree. I think any high-level college player, especially in the SEC now, coming out that's had success, that goes in the first round, and it's my opinion, I would dump him into AA and say, here you go, let's see what you can do. And it's a big jump probably. I mean, there's a lot of other distractions that happen, but I think a lot of these first rounders now, they don't tend to go right out and play. They tend to kind of wait and sit on a summer and then decide, you're going to go to instructional league. But my advice, if I was getting drafted, or advice to a draftee, would be go out and play. And the quicker you get to the big leagues, the longer you're going to be able to stay and have a long career.
And I think about for you, you went through so much change last year with this team. Here in the second half, I have a feeling we're going to start to see some of the younger guys. In the back of your mind, I know you got to take care of what's in this clubhouse right now, but in the back of your mind, are you excited knowing that at some point we're going to see some of the guys we do think are the future?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's also, there's also some anxiety to it. We've seen these younger guys here for these first 3 months. They're slowly, understanding what it takes to play at this level every day. So if we go through that process again with another group or a few players, at the end of this season, we could see some more growing pains from those guys, which is to be anticipated, and that's okay. We understand where we're at, but the goal still is to win baseball games. And I know there's a couple guys in AAA that are playing well, that are putting up some numbers, which is a great sign.
Yeah.
And Again, it will be a transition for them though when they get here.
What are you doing during the All-Star break?
We're going to spend some time. Since we're in Boston, we're on the East Coast. I played in the Cape Cod League. I love the Cape Cod League. We're going to go out and see a game. The family's going to stay with me, and then we'll end up flying back.
Like, it's important to really disconnect, isn't it? I mean, it's as much as you can, but it really is, because you're living this. I mean, as we're saying, we're on a couch that
there's a bed under here.
He is slept on, so it's like it's one of those deals where you do need to get away, and your wife and your kids, and
yeah, it's important to kind of shut off a little bit for sure, and re-energize and come back in fresh. And I think we'll end up doing that, and I think the guys will end up doing that as well.
Well, enjoy the break.
All right, bud. Thanks.
Second half before. I mean, it's hard to believe we're almost at the All-Star break.
It is. It is hard, but we're here, and we've got still 2.5 months to go.
All right, that's the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep for your mattress, your pillows, your sheets, all your bedding needs. Go to Nest Bedding, the stores in the Bay Area, or you go to nestbedding.com and use the coupon code Oakland to get 10% off your entire order. This is Chris Townsend, and it is summertime. You want to look your best, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Commander Cody, we've got our new shipment from